how to do a human face out of clay. You're going to cut off a piece of clay and wedge it up, as we've learned before. Wedge it about 20 times, and then once it is well wedged and still soft, then you're going to pat that lumpy ball of clay into a circle. So basically I'm just taking any spots that stick out and hit them in. There's another spot that sticks out, hit it, hit it. So I'm just looking and hitting any spots that are sticking out. Till it's pretty close to a ball. And that ball is about the size of my fist. That way. Okay. Now I'm going to make that ball into more of an oval shape. Mr. Samuels showed you how to draw the oval shape. So it's going to be about this tall and a little narrower than it is tall. I just kind of eye up where I want it. I made it an oval that way, but now when I turn it this way, it's still round. So I have to do an oval this way as well. And then if it has kind of sharp edges on it, then I'm going to have to make those into ovals too. Make it so it feels like an egg, nice and rounded in your hand. No hard edges. And make sure you're turning in all directions so that that oval happens no matter which way you turn it, except of course on the top or the bottom. If you have any little cracks that are occurring, at this point the clay is so wet you can just kind of smooth them over. Don't worry too much about the cracks unless they're really big. They aren't really going to make that much of a difference. Now we have to do the next step that was taught in the drawing, and that is to find the middle from top to bottom. Make sure when you're measuring this, you have your finger way up on the top of the clay here, not up here, but down towards the table. Pick where you think the center is and just make a tiny little mark with your nail. Hold that measurement and come down and check it. So my measurement is not quite in the middle. There's still a ways to go. It has to be dropped down lower. So I'm going to erase that one and try it again. So there's what I think is the middle. Up to the top. And that seems to be the middle now. And I'm going to draw that line up all the way straight over. And now I'm going to do a line straight down the middle this way. So again, I'm going to measure. I think the middle is here. Check it. Yes, I got it correct. And then I'm just going to draw the line up. So I have my crosshairs. Continuing to follow along with the next thing that was done in the drawing example, I'm now going to divide the space from where the eyes are going to go down to the bottom of the chin. The step was to divide this into 3 even spaces. Take your time until you get it right. Now the key here to getting them even and measuring correctly is they should be even when you're looking straight down on them. Once you have those 3 lines even, that shows it a little better with the camera angle like this, then the middle of those that you just divided, the middle third, gets divided in half. This is going to be the bottom of the nose right there. Is to find out where the outside of the iris is going to be. That's the colored part of the eye. So from this very outside of the ball here to the center, you're going to find the halfway point. So again, I estimate it to be here. Fingers up. Don't guess. Just check it so it's a little far out. Got it? And now I'm going to use that mark to find my other one right there and double check that that mark appears to be the same distance as there to the side of the head. Next step is I'm going to draw the lines that will represent the side of the nose and the eyebrows. Remember, the nose connects to the eyebrows. And the eyebrow line goes above the line that we're going to put the eye on, arches up and over it, just like you did in the drawing. When I go to do the second side, it's fine if you want to turn your clay upside down. Try to match that brow. Draw a line over so that you know that this brow is the same height as that brow. That's what it looks like at this point. Now the face is very, very flat, and as you know, our faces aren't flat like that. So now we get the fun part. We get to turn this from a drawing on an oval into an actual 3D face. How I like to start this is I take my thumb and I put it right on that dot that you measured that was halfway between the middle of the face and the edge of the face. And I'm just going to take my thumb and I'm going to push in there. My thumb's too big, I can use a finger. And notice that I'm pushing in all the way over to that edge of the nose. And all the way over to the edge of the brow that you drew over here. Make a nice deep eye socket. The socket is bigger than the eyeball. I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing over here. Push right in that middle line. Open it a little further with my fingers, all the way to the edge of the brow. And try to make your sockets look even. Think of this more as a skull, not a face, because the eyes are too huge for a face, but we are going to close them in. What I'd like you to do is feel where your eyebrow is, and then come around on the edge of your nose and feel right in under here. That's your cheekbone. So from the top of the cheekbone to the bottom of the eyebrow is very large. You can see how much the eyelid closes in over the eyeball. The eyeball, you can actually feel, is this size, and then the cheekbone and the eyebrow that size, so quite a bit bigger, and that's why the eye sockets look bigger than you would think they should be. We can start sculpting the nose. So you're just going to take this clay right here, hold the big piece of clay in your hand. As you notice, as I just picked that up, it's starting to get squished flat on the board from my pushing in the eye sockets. So I'm going to cup my hand and make it form to the round back of the head, and I'm going to support like that as I squeeze in and make the nose. Don't push down very hard right here because that is the cheek. You don't want it to sink down like the eye socket did. Just push it down a little bit there. Now right in here, if you feel just below your eyebrow area in the middle, there is an indentation there. It's not flat. So I'm just going to take my fingers and I'm going to push that down in. And that's going to create a little more of that brow area right here and the dip in the nose. When I pushed that little bridge of the nose in, it made this too wide. So now I have to push that down in until it basically feels like a little tiny nose. Don't pinch it too thin there. There is a bone or cartilage actually in there, so you can't pinch it too thin. Our noses are wider than you would think right in there. So the shape of the eye socket needs to be wider here than it is tall. Kind of drawing it with the pencil, but you don't have to do that, just so you can see the shape in the bottom of it. I still have a cheekbone. Let's see, if I turn it this way, you can see there is a cheek here. It shouldn't be pushed down in. If you did accidentally push it back in, go ahead and add some clay to build that back up. The nose is still coming all the way down to that middle third line. So if you lost your lines, which you probably did when you squished the nose skinnier, redraw them. So you should have the line in the middle of the eye here, and then you've got the thirds all the way to the bottom of the face. And then remember that the bottom of the nose goes to the middle of the middle third. We are going to have to add some more clay to the nose. Yours probably looks more like that if you look at it from the side. But again, it should be the right length. So I'm just going to take a little bit of clay and kind of see the size of it. I haven't really shaped it, it's just a little blob of clay. I'm going to take some slip, apply it. Now, when I push that clay on, I want to be holding it in my hand. I don't want to flatten the back of the head. So I'm just taking that clay. First, it might look a bit like a clown nose, and blend it in place. Make sure that this part of the nose, the bridge, is nice and round. If you feel your own nose, you'll feel it's not flat at all, so make sure this one isn't. Okay. The actual outside edge of the nose is probably right about here and here. So what we're going to do is we're going to poke the nostrils and pull that side part out right here. So it flares and you have the hole. So I'm putting my pencil in, not right in the center. You can see where the center line is. It's to the right of center. And then I'm going to pull to the side like that, and you can see it makes that nostril. Then what you do is you just kind of use your pencil and lightly tuck this place here under. And then gently smooth until it looks like a nostril. And I'm going to do the same thing here, just to the left of center, pull out, and that widened this part. Roll that under, smooth. And just kind of look at it, maybe look at somebody's nose and fiddle with it until it looks right. Up here, you should have a little hint of where the ball of the nose is. You don't want it too much, just a slight indentation maybe. And it should be narrower in here, wider out here.